Hey everybody, I hope you had a great spring break. So let's get back to it. Here's our lesson for the week, and I will end it with your assignment. Go ahead and open Adobe Premiere, and while you let it open, I'm going to show you what we're going to be producing this week. So last week, you produced a little caricature of yourself with Adobe Illustrator. So this week, we're going to make a little animation that we can use to put in front of the videos we produce to kind of introduce things. So here's what I cooked up, and we're going to do exactly the same thing throughout this lesson. Let's make some art. Right? And you can see how you could start a video with that, and then maybe have the title pop up, in the middle of the screen, and you could fade out, you could fade into your face, and you could say, okay, here's my video about the blah, 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 blah. So let's start with opening up a new project. I'm going to save this actually. Close it. Close all projects. Okay. You should go up to File. Oh, okay. There we go. Say New Project. Call it whatever you want. New character animation. Most of this should be set just fine. All right, so we have a new project open. Now let's go ahead and go onto Google and find a background. I'm going to choose the same. You know what? Let me choose a different background this time, and save it on your desktop. Save image by right-clicking on it, and save image as. I'm just going to call mine Forest 2 on the desktop. Then go into Premiere, and we're going to import this this image, and we're going to use it as a background. So go to File, go to Import, and go ahead and scroll down until you find it. It's all alphabetical order. There it is. Then go ahead and, just like you would a video clip, drag your image onto your timeline and drop it. And you'll notice that it automatically generated a sequence. So that's good. You know what? Coincidentally, mine created a sequence that's about the right screen size that I wanted. But yours might not, so we're gonna tackle that later actually. So all right. Now we have a background, and it plopped it down for about 4 seconds. Looks like this clip is about 4 seconds long. If you want to make yours longer, you just go to the end of the clip here on the video sequence, on the timeline, and you just drag it out. It would be 8 seconds long here, but you know what? 4 or 5 seconds, that's fine for a little boing, 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 and it'll say you'll say something. You'll record your voice, and it'll say something. So 4 seconds is fine. Now, right-click on that clip on your timeline, and it's going to pull up a big menu, and you're going to look for Replace with After Effects Composition. Now, you should have installed After Effects already on your computer, but if you have not, go ahead and hit pause on this video, go to your Adobe Creative Cloud app, find Adobe After Effects, and download that piece of software onto your computer. I'll wait. Okay, now you've unpaused, I hope. Let's click on this piece of, here on the menu. Just a refresher, we're right-clicking on our clip on the timeline. We're saying Replace with After Effects Composition. Now this should open up the After Effects. Now this should open up your After Effects app, though I already have mine open, so I'm just going to hit this, and it just changes me over to the After Effects app. Yours, like I said, might have to start up, and it'll show you the screen for a few seconds, and then the whole window will open up. Well, that's weird. You know what? I think it's because the image of the forest is a JFIF, and After Effects, it's possible, does not like JFIFs. Yeah, I think that's what it is. So I'm going to go back. I'm going to find a different picture that's a JPEG and replace, go back into Premiere, replace the forest picture with a JPEG and come back and do the same process again. So let's just fast forward it. All right, we're going to stop here for a moment because I imported a new JPEG, but the JPEG was not the size that I wanted. So it's smaller. So let's right click here, or if you hover your mouse over this sequence, you'll see real tiny in that little tooltip box that pops up. It says sequence 450 by 299. That means 450 pixels by 299 pixels, and that's not what I want. YouTube needs something different. So let's go to sequence settings. So you right click on the sequence and you go to sequence settings. There we go. So frame size there. Let's see. I think YouTube likes 1280 by 720. Oh, you know what? If it gives you weird numbers, uncheck that box. 1280. Okay. There we go. That box wanted to keep them in a certain proportion, so it'll mess with you. So if you uncheck that box, 1280 by 720, hit OK. That's fine. Now you notice that our screen is bigger, but the photo is smaller. So now just go ahead and click on the forest image down here in the projects panel. Go up to effects controls. You've done effects controls quite a bit at this point. Oops. Oh, you got to select the clip. Then go to scale and just drag it till it looks a little bigger and block, till it blocks up the whole screen. You don't see any black anymore. There. Okay, there we go. Now we're going to repeat the process. You may not have needed to do this little part. Replace with After Effects. And here we go. It opened our image in After Effects. And you're going to notice that After Effects looks fairly similar to Premiere. And it functions to a great extent similarly. Like I've said before, Adobe products try to seem, they all try to name their menu items something similar so that you can move back and forth pretty fluidly. So the first thing is, okay, well, we have 4 seconds of footage and we have our forest background. Let's bring on our character. So go to File, go to Import, go to File, and then find your character. I called mine Me. So let me find it. There we are. So it should say AI, have an orange color, and the file name here, me.ai, which stands for Adobe Illustrator. Double click that, and remember you're bringing in the Adobe Illustrator file. You didn't have to export this as a PNG or a JPEG. Import kind, it'll say footage or composition. Import composition. That means that it has layers and different parts to it. Footage is just like, like a film clip. But our character has different parts that we can move. Okay, great. So you can see over here in this panel, this project panel, we have several parts to it. We have our forest image, and this is our overall composition. This is like the first thing we saved when we opened it. And part of it is this forest JPEG. Now, part of it is also this little me character. You can look at him when you double click. And then you see me layers. You open that up, and I'll be darned. It's the layers you created in Illustrator. So each layer is an independent little part here in After Effects. Here's the body, here's his head, his left arm, his right arm. Pretty nifty, right? Collapse that, go back to here. All right, now I'm gonna drag the me character. Let's see, you know what, let's just drag him out here. That's kind of the easiest way. Now he's far too big for my taste, so please shrink him down. Do that by grabbing one of these little corners and doing that. Hold shift while you do this, and it'll help him keep him in proportion. Otherwise, you could end up with him like this, or like this. Oops, Control Z for undo. If you hold shift, you can't, he's always the same proportion. So we'll bring him down to about like this. That's good. And I want to move him to the starting position. Now you remember he hopped onto the screen. Let's see, like this. Boing, 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 boing. Right? So we're gonna stick him off where he went, yep, that's right. This. So we're gonna stick him off to that side of the screen. So you can't see him. There we go. Now, does everybody remember how we used our effect controls in Premiere to change where our subtitles are located, and we can make things move by placing keyframes? It's the same thing in After Effects, but it looks a little different. Let's go down here to this panel, and you'll notice that there's me right there. Click that drop down. And a menu is going to appear that says transform. Drop that down also, and you're going to have a lot of stuff that you used to see on Premiere. So let's go to position. Yeah, let's go to position. We're going to create an anchor point there. I'm sorry, create a keyframe there. Now we're going to move this cursor forward on the timeline just very slightly. Let's see, I don't know. We can always move change the keyframes later, but we're going to add a keyframe. So we move the timeline forward. Now you put your character where you want him to go, him or her. I'm going to have my little fella jump down onto the screen. So I'm going to move him to the right and down a little bit. Now you'll see, just like in Premiere, it created a keyframe for me automatically. Move him over a little bit more, and I'm going to have him jump from there to there. Oh, look, that little blue dot indicates that it's creating keyframes on the position line here. So now we're going to move this a little farther. There we go. Same deal, just move him for another hop. I'll do 2 more hops. Move the timeline, move the character, timeline, character, there we go. And there I want him to stay. Now let's go back, let's bring the cursor to the beginning of the timeline and hit the space bar, or, geez, what's the way to do it without using a shortcut? I have no idea. I always use the shortcut. I always press the space bar. Well, you're at home now, and you're using computers, not tablets, so it shouldn't be a problem to hit the space bar. Let me know if you don't have a space bar, and I'll just look up where the actual play button is. I apologize, I don't remember off the top of my head, but okay, so let's hear space bar. Okay. So not quite what we want though, right? I mean, we have him moving on. He's hitting all these little, he's hitting all the keyframes, right? But he's not hopping. That's where these little anchor points come in handy. You notice that they have handles? Does this remind you of anything? Illustrator users? Right. This is one of the reasons I had you get very good at using the pen tool. So we want him to jump on, kind of like have an arch, right? So I'm going to make him go jump onto the screen. Now I want this handle to go upward. So you're going to grab this handle and hold Alt on a PC or Command on a Mac and bring it up like that. You know what? Actually, I want this to be a little higher. And I want this one to be higher too. Okay. Oh no, that. Grab this handlebar. Okay. Now you want to grab this one and hold Alt or Command, and so on and so forth. Do all of the anchor points like this. Okay, you should have a little something that looks like this. Let's bring our cursor in the timeline to the beginning and hit spacebar. Not bad, right? Now let's add a little finishing touch. Now these are different effects that you can add to your objects. And this little bouncy ball one, if you hover over it, your tooltip will pop up with a little, little box that says motion blur. So go down to the little me object, the object I called me. It's your character, whatever you called your character. And click that little ball. And what happens is you notice you can see it's blurry now. And the reason is, let me uncheck it, is real footage when things move fast and you're filming, it blurs. You probably know this, but this will not. Oops, why did I do that? This will not. So if you put this over actual footage, it looks pretty unnatural. Right? It just looks too perfect, doesn't it? So click the blur, bring it back and watch it again. Right? That looks a lot more natural. If you had an object moving that fast and with an actual camera running, it would look like that. Now, let's add one more little effect. We're going to move the different body parts. And we're going to make them say something. You can say, you have to think, we're not going to record it now, but think about it. You could have it say, welcome to my channel. I had it in the one I did earlier say, let's make some art. But you can have them say whatever. I'll have my little character this time say, yeah, I'll just do, let's make some art again. That works. Let's make some art. Okay, so thinking, it seems like you should start saying this right there. So that's just a place I chose. You should just find a place in the timeline where you think your character should start talking. And let's go over here and close everything up just so it looks a little tidier. And this time we're going to start, we're going to go over here and click Layers. We're going to click it down. So you notice there are all these different parts. And up here, we're going to click Me, because this is just the character all by itself. So whatever you do to this character, the actual character will do this. So, I mean, if you were to start making him like wave his arms around, from like second 3 to 5, after he jumps, as long as, at second 3, he'll start waving his arms. So let's start, I'm going to bob his head around and make him look like he's kind of talking. Now I'll do that by clicking the drop down on head, transform appears. Click the drop down on transform, and you'll get all the same menus you had before: anchor point, position, scale, etc., etc. We're going to be dealing with position here. Now notice the cursor is still where I left it. It hasn't moved. I'm going to click position. Oops, there we go. To create a keyframe. Now I'm going to move the cursor a little bit forward. You know what? Let me make him say something different. Let's say, welcome to my channel. So I'm going to make his head kind of pop up. And so you do the same. Make your head pop up. Now, or if you created a head with a mouth, if you have a mouthpiece, you can like scale it to make it get bigger if you want. Either way, move it to the let's kind of position where it's a mid-word. I'm also going to rotate. So you know what? Actually, that means I need to move it back to the original keyframe I made. I'm going to create a keyframe on rotation. Then I'm going to move it back to that new keyframe I created on the timeline. There we go. And I'm going to rotate it by dragging this, dragging my mouse along this number a little bit. There. Ah. Let's make some art. Or no, welcome to my channel. Let's see. So drag it forward a little bit. And we can just, let's see. Bring it back to 0. So I'm going to go ahead and keep moving the cursor a little bit forward and then move the head and rotate it, back and forth, move it forward, then move the part to the new position, etc., etc. It's going to take a couple minutes. Should take you a couple minutes. Actually, I think I'm almost done. He's saying, welcome to my channel. It really just needs to go, welcome to my channel. Little trick I learned from watching Sesame Street, watching the puppeteers move their mouths. They only move the puppets they only open the mouth about once per 2 syllables. It's like, once per 2 syllables. Saves time. Almost. Okay. So, a little too much there. There we go. Now, let's go to the left, click character, like the original composition we were looking at. Oh, it's not showing anything because our cursor is somewhere else. So let's move the cursor to the beginning. Spacebar. Welcome to my... Ooh, whoa, that's way too slow. Okay, we're going to have to move those keyframes. So let's go back to me. You know what? I did not realize that... oh, yeah, 2 seconds, 4 seconds. So it's going super, super slowly. So I'm going to zoom in. Unlike the zoom in function is a little bit different than Premiere. You use it right here. I want him to talk kind of quickly. We're going to click the main composition, I called character, drag the cursor to the beginning of the timeline, hit spacebar. Welcome to my channel. It's still very slow, way too slow for my taste. So I'm going to go back to me, and I'm going to zoom in even further, and I'm going to continue to squish these keyframes together. Okay, let's see what happens. Bring the cursor to the beginning of the clip. Hit spacebar. Oh, way better, way better. I like that. That's much cuter. It's gonna go boing, 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 boing. Welcome to my channel. There you go. So make sure to save this project. It should have forced you to create a project when you first opened when it first popped After Effects. So now we're gonna go back to Premiere. And you're going to notice something pretty magical has happened. Go ahead and just press spacebar. And how about that? You didn't even have to import it because they're both Adobe products, so they talk to each other to some extent. And so since we used that option in the beginning of turn this into an After Effects clip, it's now just communicating with After Effects automatically. We don't have to re-import it. So I'm going to press spacebar, make sure it looks good. Welcome to my channel. Perfect. Now, let's add our voice. So bring your cursor back to the beginning of your clip. And then you might want to practice a few times. Hit spacebar and look at the illustration and try it. Go boing, 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 boing. Welcome to my channel. Ooh, that's a little faster than I expected. Let's see. Boing, 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 boing. Welcome to my channel. There we go. Boing, 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 boing. Welcome to my channel. Okay, so I feel like I'm ready to record. So go ahead and just choose one. Just click one of these little horizontal spaces below your clip. Since your clip has no audio, there's nothing here. So I can just clip the audio here, And actually, you know what? Using the internal microphone on your machine here is not a great solution. But you can plug in headphones, use an iPhone microphone. Actually, I find that works better. But I'm going to use this one. It's not going to sound great, but oh well. So here we go. Boing, boing, boing. Welcome to my channel. Let's see how it sounds. Welcome to my channel. I don't know how it sounded to you all. That sounded really bad to me. I'm gonna click on it, delete, bring it back to the beginning, and try it again. Boing. Right, count off. Boing, 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 boing. Look at him. Forgot what I was supposed to say. Uno vez más. One more time. Boing, boing, boing. Welcome to my channel. Let's see how it turned out. Oof. See, that's the problem with using the internal microphone on your computer. It's just not great. But I hope you have access to a little headphone. I know, Diego, you have a real microphone now, so that's perfect. But anyway, when you're ready, go ahead and hit Save Your Project, Command S, and you should be ready to export it. So now we're just going to export it, and I would like you to send it to me. So go to File. Oh, first you'll want to save. There we go. Now, by holding, you save by holding Command and pressing S, or holding Control and pressing S, depending on whether you're on a Mac or a PC. Now, go to Export, Media. Okay, now you should have H264 up here. Big long menu, so find H264 on there, click that. Here, click this, you should have a big menu, scroll down to the bottom, YouTube 720p HD. Okay, there we go. This might have been different than what we were doing in class, but let's just do it this way for this one. And now everything should be fine. Export. It's a short video, so it should be pretty quick. There we go. So it exported. You just have to go find the file and email it to me. My file is typically in local C. Users, public. Oh wait, no, users owner for me. Users owner. It's around here somewhere. You can find it. Get your parent to help you find it if you need help. You could always just search for whatever the file is called. I forgot what mine is called. Character, I think. Character. And should be an MPEG. So MPEG, MPG. Well, anyway, I won't bore you with me trying to find my file. Just if you find the file, either upload it to your YouTube channel and email me a link to your video, or you can just send me the file. It should be an MPEG, a .mpg file. And if you have trouble sending it, use WeTransfer. I think we've used that in class before, so you can still use that. Email me if you need any help with this. This assignment is due 1 week from today. I look forward to seeing it.